Hello everyone! Today I'm here to share with you all of the books I read in the month of April. Also, my hair's not that great because my straightener decided to break and have an electrical freak out, so it is what it is at this point. So anyway, today I'm here to share with you all the books I read in April. I read a total of 8, which is amazing. I'm very happy with that. And as always with these videos, I'm going to start with my least favorite, working up to my favorite. And any book I talk about in particular, like in a video and things like that, I will link down below. Let's get into it. So the first book I have to talk about, my least favorite sadly, is Birds of California by Katie Cotugno. This is her first adult romance book. I've read all of her YA contemporary books, and I said in a video where I talked about this further, again it'll be linked down below, that she's always been a hit or miss author for me. I think she's had like 4 or 5 YA books. Like I said, I've read them all. I really love 2, but the rest I have not liked. So for her going into the adult romance genre, I was skeptical, so I gave this one a 2 out of 5. I sadly did not love it. This follows a character named Fiona who is a former child actor, and she was in this really hit popular family show called Birds of California, and things got really messy in her celebrity kind of life, so she decided to leave the whole world of celebrity and TV behind. So now she works at her dad's printer shop and she's happy. And then she learns that Birds of California is wanting to do a reboot and they really want her in it. And she's like, no, I'm good. But then the guy who played her older brother, Sam, comes in the picture. He is still an actor and he's struggling, and he's like, I need to have another big break. So when he learns about the reboot, he's like, okay, we really need Fiona on board. Like, they're not going to do the show without Fiona. So he decides to go meet her and try to convince her to do the show, and things kind of progress from there. This definitely falls under the Me Too movement in Hollywood, and I did appreciate it for that matter, but they didn't delve into the topic as much as I wanted them to. Like, they very briefly talked about it at the end, and I wanted a little bit more of it. That sounds weird, but there wasn't much. Like, you learned about Fiona more as you go, which I appreciated, but there wasn't enough to learn about. Like, they needed more. My biggest qualm with this book is that, and also that it's only like 270 pages, and that's not like crazy short, but like nothing happened in this book. Like, it was very boring to me, so I gave it a 2 out of 5. It just further proves that Katie Cotugno is a hit or miss author for me, and I don't want to give her up quite yet because I have read a couple of books of hers that I love, so I do know I can love her books. So I don't know what else to say. I don't like talking about books I don't love, so I'm just gonna move on. Next up, another adult romance book is The Wedding Crasher by Mia Sosa. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. I gave this one a 3.5 out of 5. It was cute. I enjoyed it. This is about a character named Solange who at the beginning of the book is helping out her cousin at a wedding because her cousin's a wedding planner. This is like the kind of sequel, contemporary spin-off of the first book in the series, The Worst Best Man. You don't have to read them in order at all. But anyway, like I said, she's helping out this wedding, and she goes in the stairs and she hears the bride and someone who is not the groom confessing their love for each other. So she's like, oh, this is not good. So when the wedding comes and the priest is like, if anyone could find any reason why these two should not be married, speak now. Solange is like, hey, like, do you really want to get married? She's like talking to the bride, and the bride's like, you know what? Yeah, I don't think I do. So she leaves her groom-to-be, Dean, at the altar. And from there, basically what happens is Dean needs to have a fiance to get a promotion or something at work, because it's always like that. You ever notice that? These fake dating relationships and books, like there's always these obscure ways to be in a fake relationship would benefit them, and you're just like, really? But either way, they pretend to be engaged, and of course, as always with these books, real feelings become more than that, and it was cute. I didn't love it. It was definitely, it's just like a good romance filler book, if you will. I liked it. I didn't love it, so a 3.5 out of 5. If you love romance books, oh, check it out. Next up, we have Sometimes I Lie by Alice Feeney. This is her first book, and I got this because I had it on Kindle Unlimited, and I thought, you know, I'll check it out. And I have to say, I enjoyed it. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. So this book starts with Amber, who at the beginning of the book you learn is in a coma, and the problem is she can't really talk or open her eyes or anything, but she is aware of everything around her. She can hear people that come visit. She kind of stuff like that. So she's aware of everything around her, but she can't really vocalize it or visual, you know what I'm saying? And so she hears a lot of going on, and she doesn't know exactly what happened to her in her accident, but she knows that her husband has something to do with it. And this book is very like, I enjoyed it. It definitely threw me for a loop, and the ending is one that I still just don't know how to comprehend of how it really ended. It's definitely a very twisty ending. If you know for definitive of what really happened in the ending, seriously let me know, because I'm still like, I don't know, because the whole book is about Amber, and like she starts with three things like in a lot of the parts of the book of like things about her, and the one big thing about her, sometimes she lies. The ending, I'm just like, I don't know what to think, but I enjoyed it. I definitely want to read more Alice Feeney books in the future. Next up, another thriller book is Children on the Hill by Jennifer McMahon. I gave this book a 4 out of 5, and again, I'll definitely be checking out more of her books. This one has it came out yet? It's coming out soon, but either way, I recommend it on NetGalley because it sounded amazing. So this book takes place in 2 timelines. The first one being 1978, where you have, I had to write down, you have a character named Violet, and basically Violet and her brother live in this house near, on top of the hill, kind of near a psychiatric hospital that their grandmother runs, and it's kind of like hush hush, nobody knows about it, they don't know anything. And then their grandmother brings home another young girl named Iris home to them, and she's like, you know what, she's been through a lot, just kind of pull her in, things like that. And that's basically what's going on in the 1978 chapters. You try to figure out what exactly is going on at the psychiatric hospital. Is it good? Is it not? And then we take place to currently in 2019, I believe. You follow a character named Lizzie, who is the host of like this podcast, this monster podcast. She's trying to hunt down these monsters, and she learns that maybe that whenever a girl goes missing, there's a monster involved with it, and it's kind of correlating with the 1978 thing going on. And I really enjoyed it. I could definitely tell some of the twist for sure, but the ending was really good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the way it was told. I enjoyed the 2 timelines, and the characters very morally gray. So I really liked it. Again, 4 out of 5. Definitely want to read more of her books. I've heard The Winter People by her is amazing, so I definitely plan to read that one very, very soon. Fingers crossed, hopefully. And then we have another romance book, The Princess Trap by Talia Hibbert. This is one of my backlist books I wanted to read this year because I'm trying to read all of Talia Hibbert's books. She's got a lot, so I'm starting slow. This one is all about a character named Cherry who works at this kind of prestigious school, and there basically she meets this prince named Reuben, and immediately the attraction is there. Like, it's there. She doesn't know he's a prince at all, but then they get caught in the circumstance, and cameras are there, and he lies, and he's like, this is my fiance. And so again, another kind of fake dating romance with royalty involved. And with all of Talia Hibbert's books, it was cute, it was very, very steamy, and I enjoyed it. Like, this book, like from the beginning, it was clear about the attraction for both of them. They were both like, I am clearly very attracted to you. So it was fake dating, but the feelings for the fake dating were already well established. So I enjoyed it again. It's not one of my favorite Talia Hibbert books. I still love the Brown Sisters series so much, but I still really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed that it was a standalone novel as well. We have Something Wilder by Christina Lauren. This is a book coming out next month, actually, and I gave it a 4 out of 5. I enjoyed it. If you really love National Treasure but want more romance into it, this is the book for you. So in this book, we follow 2 characters, one named Lily Wilder, whose dad is Duke Wilder, and he's kind of a famous treasure hunter. He's always trying to find treasure, and more particularly Butch Cassidy's treasure, like in Utah and things like that. And her family owns a ranch. In the beginning of the book, she's very happy. She wants to own this ranch and just be happy with horses and have people come visit and live and stay there and stuff like that. In the beginning of the book, she's with a character named Leo, who they're in love. But then you learn that Leo up and abandons her. And so she has now lost her ranch because of circumstances. And she's now like hosting like this kind of 1 week long horse kind of trail in Utah, like in like the mountains and canyons and stuff. And basically she hosts like bachelorette parties of people going on vacations for a week. And basically what they do is they ride horses, and then they have these treasure hunts, like fake treasure hunts basically. And to her surprise, one group that comes for the week is Leo and his friends, and Leo had no clue. So they were obviously in love once, and he up and abandoned her. And so they go and hash things out, and also there's actual real treasure hunt going on. I really enjoyed this book. It was a fun time. as with all of Christina Lauren books are, but this one had the element of adventure into it, which was great. Also, one thing I really loved about this book is that, you know, there's a whole line of miscommunication that could happen because these characters see each other again after years of not seeing each other, and you think they're not going to talk at all, they're going to ignore each other. No, they were like, look, let's hash it out at the very beginning. Like, tell me what happened and let's just get on with it. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. A book usually never does that. So I really appreciated that a ton. Again, this is one you're going to have to suspend your belief on. It was a treasure hunt. Like I said, it's national treasure, like set in the canyons with a lot of romance into it. But I had a fun time reading it. I enjoyed it. So I gave it a 4 out of 5. It was a good time. Then we have a very surprise book for me, and that is Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillian. I believe that's the author's name. I read this one on a whim. I've seen it pop up here and there. And yeah, I just wanted to check it out. It was on Kindle Unlimited, so I thought, hey, why not? And I was really obsessed with it. So let me read you the thing. It says, this is the story of 3 best friends, one who was murdered, one who went to prison, and one who's been searching for the truth all of these years. So basically this book starts off with 14 years ago, Angela Wong disappeared and was never seen again. Everyone assumed she was murdered, but they never find out any information. Now, 14 years later, answers are finally coming to light because her remains were found near her best friend Gio's childhood home. And now Kaiser, who went to high school and was best friends with Angela, learns that she was the victim of the Sweet Bay Strangler, aka Calvin James. But to Gio, Georgina, he was something totally different. He was her high school boyfriend. And so basically, this book is wild. Like, we follow Gio and we follow Kaiser. Gio starts off in prison because she's involved with it somehow, and things come to light about her best friend and if she was involved with the murder or if she wasn't, and Kaiser trying to figure out. We also have a, you know, childhood sweetheart that turned out to be a serial killer with Calvin James, and it is freaking wild. It is a dark book for sure. I usually don't read a ton of dark books because that's not my jam, because it isn't, but man, I think the writing had me hooked. The constant back and forth with the timelines had me hooked, and the ending was just like, what? It was just, it was a dark book, but man, I freaking enjoyed the mess out of it. 5 out of 5. I definitely want to read more of her books. I know there's a few that I'm going to read. I actually have, I'm approved for her newest book coming out in August on NetGalley, so I might read that really soon. A lot of people love her book Little Secrets, but that's about like childhood abduction. That's about child abduction, and I don't know if I can read that one because that's too dark for me. But I don't know, man. I love this one. This was a backlist book that I thought I would just enjoy, but obsessed, for sure, obsessed. Like, wasn't planning on loving it, but here we are. And I love when books do that to you. When you, there's books sometimes you read that you're just like, I don't love it, you know, it didn't surprise me, but there are sometimes books that surprise you completely, and this was one of them. And then we have my other 5-star of the month is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I've talked about this a lot. I did in a reading vlog. I put a review up for it, so I've talked about it a lot. This one follows Nora, who is a literary agent. She's a cutthroat literary agent, and basically her little sister decides to like make her go on vacation with her to this really small town in Sunshine Falls in North Carolina. And there she runs into Charlie, who is a editor back in New York, and they kind of have a tumultuous relationship. Like, they don't like each other, but of course they start working together, editing a book, and feelings emerge. And it's just a very fun book. It takes the romance trope and kind of spins it on its head. By that I mean, like, usually when you read about a book a character going to a small town, they fall in love with it and they fall in love there and they want to live there. Nora's not like that. She's like, no, New York is for me. I don't want to do this. In fact, she's had several boyfriends leave her because they've gone on a business trip to some small town and they fall in love with the bakery owner or things like that. So she's lost a lot of relationships to that. So she's like, jaded on the idea of love already. So when she goes to a small town, she's like, I ain't feeling this. But nevertheless, this was super adorable, super romantic. I loved every bit of it. This is the 3rd Emily Henry adult romance book I've given a 5 out of 5. Clearly, I love her writing. I think just everything about it, like the steaminess, the romance, the character development, the side characters, I enjoy them all. Like, goodness me, she is quickly like one of my favorite romance authors of all time. Like, I love them. So yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. So yeah, those are the 8 books that I read this month. I'm very happy with it. I'm doing great on my 22 books I want to read in 2022, my backlist books. And yeah, I'm super happy with my progress. I would love to know if you've read any of these, if I convinced you to read them. If I didn't, please let me know. Again, sorry about my hair. I ordered a new straightener. Hopefully it'll come soon because this is a hot mess. Yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.